America is a country to be looted. That is what the Democrats view it as. And we are seeing more and more video and stories that show this. When you invite the third world, don't be shocked when your nation starts to look like and become the third world. Let's start with this. This is 112. An illegal monster from Ecuador has been arrested now in the of a 13-year-old girl at knife point in broad daylight. No screening, no background check, no idea who this animal is. Broad daylight goes and a 13-year-old girl. Understand, this is very common in Central and South America. And the Ecuadorian government, they don't want these people in their country, so they say, go up to America. You're allowed to do whatever you want and pillage, plunder, loot. Play cut 112.
Christian Inga was arraigned today in New York City on charges of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl after school last week in a shocking daylight attack. Police say the 25-year-old migrant from Ecuador approached two teens in the park at knife point. According to the criminal complaint, the suspect tied the boy and girl to one another, gagged them, then the girl before fleeing the scene. Police say Inga entered the U.S. illegally through Eagle Pass, Texas, back in 2021.
Man, I am telling the Trump super PACs, you guys need to get a sizzle reel of an ad of them saying, entered Eagle Pass, Texas in 2021, entered this sector 2022. Again, this is one of Biden's boys. This is one of Biden's dreamers. Cut 113, local vigilantes thankfully recognized him and waited for him all day and tied him up until police could apprehend him. Now, I want to pause here. This is the anarcho-tyranny we're living through. I don't think that the citizens that did this are going to be penalized, but we're seeing time and time again that it is the citizen that is rising up against the crime that gets punished. Because police don't really do their job anymore, unfortunately. Play cut 113.
Police put out the sketch of the suspect and later this video of him riding a bike. Outraged New Yorkers responded.
We waited for him all day.
A community of Good Samaritans recognized the suspect as someone who lived in the neighborhood and waited for him for hours at a grocery store where he was last seen.
I seen him walking into the store and I had to take him out.
The chaotic scene playing out live on the Citizen app.
He tried to fight back, though. He tried to run for his life. Like, he really tried to run for his life, but he couldn't.
Those young men are patriots. They should be on every national television program. There's still a lot of decent people in this country. You see that? There he is with his Joe Biden 2024 shirt. That's fake, by the way, but it might as well be real. What's his name? His name, I don't know. That's him with his re-elect Joe Biden shirt. If you give Joe Biden 4 more years, it is going to be open season. You think it's bad now? You're talking about 10 million people a year. And will he be out tomorrow on bail? He might be. Now, I want to put together a couple pieces of data here, which I think is very important. His name is Christian Giovanni Ingalandi from Ecuador. Goes in the 13-year-old girl. Don't you love how the American in downtown New York says, we know who we found out who he was and we hunted him down. They're doing the job the police is doing because the police, they're afraid. So everyday citizens are like, let's go. And that is the attitude. By the way, this was in broad daylight that this guy went after a 13-year-old girl. Our daughters are not safe in this country. They're not safe from the illegal crime. They're not safe from being drafted into a war. They're not safe when they go into locker rooms. And remarkably, college-educated women remain Joe Biden's core constituency. They are the most enthusiastic for Joe Biden, which is awfully perplexing, isn't it? That the constituency that is being hurt and harmed the most, they say diversity is our strength. These are the people that go to poverty simulations in Highland Park. They're so empathetic. Yeah, you want to feel empathy? Put that monster back up, by the way, 130. Put this monster back up. This is Joe Biden's boy. They have empathy for this monster who raped a 13-year-old girl in New York. And again, there are stories every single day, like this story. We played it the other day, but it's worth repeating. Young lady, while she was going for a hike, mother of 5, in Maryland. That's right. She was going for a run, mother of 5, and by an illegal that should never have been here. Rachel Morin is her name, similar to Laken Riley. It is open season this summer on the women of America. Play cut 53.
And I want to now direct these comments to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member in both chambers of Congress. We are 1,800 miles away here in Harford County. We are 1,800 miles away from the southern border, and the American citizens are not safe because of failed immigration policies. This is the second time in just 2 years that an innocent Harford County woman has lost her life to a criminal in our country illegally.
By the way, that's just one county. That's one county where 2 girls have been by an illegal. That doesn't count the arsons or the break-ins, the kidnappings. So there I have, just in the last 5 days, we have down in downtown New York City, we have Rachel Morin in Maryland, we have the attempted kidnapping in Indiana of 5 animal monsters that are doing this, and it is just going to start, everybody. This is just the beginning stages. Your country is transforming into a third world hellhole. This is cut 114. Mayorkas excuses Joe Biden's unilateral mass amnesty for illegal aliens because we need people who are willing to work. We need people who are willing to do the... Play cut 114.
Trump advisor Stephen Miller called today's action, quote, unconstitutional executive amnesty for illegal aliens.
I'll drive right by that. There is very little, if anything, that Stephen Miller says with which I agree. He condemns immigrants, and so many have contributed so significantly to the well-being of our country in terms of local communities, our national economy. We need people who are willing to work hard, to serve on the front lines.
This country is open for looting. By the way, our wonderful listeners, Vicky, her JJ, found the book, and I was right. It is Osterweil. It is In Defense of Looting, A Righteous History of Uncivil Action, a remarkable book that NPR profiled favorably. In Defense of Looting, A Righteous History of Uncivil Action, Vicky Osterweil. A fresh argument for rioting and looting as one of our most powerful tools for dismantling white supremacy. You think I'm joking? Put this book up on screen. This was celebrated in the summer of love, in the summer of Floydapalooza. Vicky Osterweil argues that stealing goods and destroying property are direct, pragmatic strategies of wealth redistribution and improving life for the working class, not to mention the brazen messages these methods send to police and the state. All our beliefs about the innate righteousness of property and ownership, Osterweil explains, are built on the history of anti-black and anti-indigenous oppression. Oh, there is philosophical backing for this. This is 129. This is what's happening. This is a metaphor for the country. A guy minding his business at a jewelry store, and a horde of criminals come in and loot and gets overwhelmed. This right here is a metaphor for the entire country. They will overwhelm, they'll take over, and take your stuff. And before you say it's a fringe belief, read the book In Defense of Looting. NPR talked about it favorably. The national media talked about it favorably. There it is. What a wonderful way of living, in defense of looting. They don't believe in private property. They want to create chaos as a means to eventually control all of society. Play cut 129. So there you have on radio, you have a group of 30 or 40, that's like what? That's about 30 people. It's coming in and overwhelming the system, overwhelming the jewelry store. No one can possibly stop them, and they're all masked. And I doubt any of them will be arrested. That is what's going on in the country right now. It is completely overwhelming. It is chilling. And that is happening on a daily basis. Crime is going up to record levels, and they're lying about the crime rates. They're lying about it. It's higher than it's ever been in certain areas of the country. This is the anarcho-tyranny. And by the way, if the owner had pulled out a gun and shot one of them, he'd be the one prosecuted. We see that all across the country. If you take out your gun and protect yourself against somebody coming into your home or somebody coming into your business, you're the one prosecuted for. So you just have to let the looting happen. You have to just let them kidnap your kids. Like the USC story. At USC, the young man defended himself with a knife against a crazy person, and he got arrested for. Store workers can't stop looters in most major chains. Just so you guys know that if you stop a looter in a major chain, you will get fired. A homeless man broke into a USC student's car, and the student caught him in the act. A scuffle ensued, and the student, Ivan Gallegos, fatally stabbed the thief. Now, Gallegos has been arrested on suspicion of. He was community volunteer who escaped poverty to attend USC and scholarship. He had no criminal record. Now his life might be effectively over, but that's Los Angeles. LA officials let criminals prey on the public with impunity and reserve maximum force for anybody who tries to defend themselves. That's anarcho-tyranny in a nutshell. So I tell you to own weapons and know how to use them, but even if you use the weapon, your government might put you in jail, not the person trying to rape your daughter, the person trying to steal your stuff, or the person trying to loot your home.